are studying Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 40. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Ajñascha ashraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyate nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha ajñascha ashraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyate nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha ajñascha ashraddadhanascha samshayatma vinashyate nayam lokosti na paro sukham samshayatmanaha. Translation. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness, they fall down. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Please repeat. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Purport. Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. Persons who are almost like animals, Ajna, have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures. And some, even though they have knowledge of or can cite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith, ashraddha, in these words. And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in or worship the personality of Godhead, Samshayatma. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness, they fall down. Out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith and are always doubtful make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and His revealed word find no good in this world nor in the next. For them there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons who have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation, one should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in the disciplic succession and thereby attain success. Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for studying Bhagavad Gita. We are studying the last part, Glories of Transcendental Knowledge, in this 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the previous session, we saw some very encouraging verses. Even if we have committed unlimited volumes of sin or are incapable of following any good practices in life, if we cultivate transcendental knowledge, we will attain perfection. Transcendental knowledge is compared to a boat that can help us cross over any obstacle. Transcendental knowledge is compared to fire that can turn into ashes, reactions of our past misdeeds. Transcendental knowledge is compared to something so pure, pavitram, that just by remaining in touch with the transcendental knowledge, gradually we become samsiddha. We attain perfection, and vindati, we delight, having attained spiritual knowledge. And then text 39 talked about who can get transcendental knowledge. Shraddhavan, Tatpara, Samyatendriya. One has to have faith, one should be dedicated to the practice and control one's senses. Now we study the 40th verse. Prabhu, if you don't mind, can you request them that I'm really trying to keep my volume low, and if they can similarly try, it will be mutually beneficial. So in this verse, there are three kinds of personalities being described, and they are Ajna, Ashraddhadhana and Samshayatma. These are very interesting type of personalities. You can make a table. Type faith in the Vedas, proper understanding of the Vedas, faith in Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, I'm having an invisible marker with me, right? So there is type, faith in the Vedas,
proper understanding,
knowledge of the Vedas, faith in the Vedas, and Krishna as SPOG, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so three columns. Then the first category, Ajna, no knowledge of the Vedas, so no faith in the Vedas, and not accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next category, Ashraddhadhana, knowledge of the Vedas, no faith in the Vedas, and no acceptance of Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Samshayatma, knowledge of the Vedas, yes. Shraddha, faith in the Vedas, yes, but don't accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is how it looks like graphically, this verse. Let's talk about the first category, Ajna. Prabhupada calls them as animals in human guise, which means they have, Veda means knowledge. Veda just doesn't mean some book. Any knowledge, spiritual or material, that is helpful for elevating us to our original position is called Veda. So, there are people in this world who cultivate no knowledge. They are simply interested in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. The activities that animals are very fond of and do without any restriction. So such people are called as Dvipada Pashu, two-legged animals. Now you may say, well, they have nice Apple iPhones and they have, they have such wonderful, technology. They are sending satellites in the sky, and there's so many things that they are doing. You call them animals? Isn't that something? The question is, for what purpose are they using the technology, the money, the gadgets? The purpose never goes beyond eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And that's why in consciousness, their activities remain always animalistic, although they have the attire or the dress of a human being. So they are called as Dvipada Pashu, and that's the first category. No knowledge of the Vedas, no faith in them, not accepting Krishna as Supreme Personality of God. Now there comes the next category, Ashraddhadhana. These people, they have knowledge of the Vedas, but they have no faith in them. And of course, no acceptance of Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now these are another interesting category. In India especially, you will find many people who have knowledge of the Vedas, but they don't believe in it. They think this is all mythology. And when it especially comes to Ramayana or all these wonderful itihasas, itihasa means thus it certainly happened. Iti ha asa. Thus it certainly happened. It's not mythology. But they have no faith in them. They think that these Vedas are some Gadiwala sage sitting in some Himalayan gufa, had no other work to do than to regulate human activities for some kind of moralistic development. Thank you. What is the conclusion of the Vedas? Vedesha sarvair aham eva vedyaha. Krishna says, from all the Vedas, I am to be known. In the Bhagavatam, Janma adi asya yataha. What is Supreme Absolute Truth? The one from whom everything emanates. The whole creation comes. It's called the description. Janma adi asya yataha. Now this is to be known through all the efforts of cultivation of knowledge. If this we don't know and everything else we know, then that has got no value. We often tell that story, the boatman and the scientist. The scientist was going with the boatman in the village, huge river, and he was ridiculing this boatman, saying that, do you know what's happening in America right now in the elections? He said, no, I don't know anything about it. Whether it is Hillary or, He said 25% of your life is waste. Then he asked him a little ahead, do you know how biotechnology works? You're the scientist from that background. He said, I don't know what this is. He said, 50% of your life is waste. Then a little ahead where he went, and there were some dark clouds, and so he thought maybe I should check the weather forecast. So he opened his Apple laptop and connected to the internet. You know what this is? This is Apple laptop. You know what I'm doing? I'm connecting to the satellite. You know what I'm going to get now as a data? The real time, cyclone conditions in Chennai. I don't know. Whatever. So, and through this, I can tell exactly what's going to come up here now. So the boatman just looked up and he said, yeah, there is going to be a cyclone soon, at least according to my estimation. And he said, no, these are just some mild clouds. I am reading the data here, it says that it is not going to be so severe. And do you know what this is? This is called GPS system. You know this? He said, no, I don't know that. He said, 75% of your life is waste. And the boatman said, all right, no problem. And then the cyclone hit. And the boat started going, toppling everywhere. And huge waves were forming in the riverbed. And they were in the middle of the whole thing. And there was kind of winds and torrential rain. And this scientist got scared. He said, all these gadgets are getting wet. I'm finished. What should I do now? The boatman only asked him one question. Do you know swimming? He said, no. He said, I'm sorry to say, but 100% of your life is waste. And I can't help you now because there's such a storm, I can't do anything rather than just saving myself. So he jumped off the boat, swam across the river, and this fellow drowned. Similarly, we are seated in the boat of modern living. And the crucial item we must know in our life is how to cross over this river of Bhavasagara. And if we don't have this knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and we know everything else in our life, we know the share market, we know the economics, we know the world politics, I don't know what not subjects in the world. But just at the storm hitting moment of our death, if we have not gained transcendental knowledge and don't know what to do with certain crucial moments of our life, then no matter what we have learned, it is going to go completely waste. So therefore, Ashraddha an interesting category of people. There are people in India who have knowledge of the Vedas, but they don't believe that these things are true. In fact, they curse, they think, what kind of system these people have made unnecessarily? They have uselessly created such a vast amount of literature that distracts human energy away from scientific and technological advancement and what we are trying to offer to the whole world. So just see. So this is Ashraddha, knowledge of Vedas, no faith in Vedas, and no conclusion derived yet. Then Samshayatma are a very interesting category of people. They have knowledge of the Vedas, they have faith in certain portions of the Vedas that they work and that they are true, but they don't accept Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of God. So they are called Samshayatma, doubting soul. Now this is an interesting fellow. I told you this story. We had once hired one Ayurveda Acharya. His name was Bruhaspati. And he had come here to speak on Ayurveda to our brahmacharis. And he wanted to give us the best possible know-how of keeping body healthy and living a long life. And he was quoting Bhagavad Gita left and right. In fact, we were impressed. Some of us even didn't know the verses that he was quoting by heart. And he would really precisely draw a conclusion for applying in practical life, healthy living, fitness. At the end of his class, brahmacharis were so impressed, they asked him, so, according to you, sir, what is the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita? So the brahmacharis were expecting he will quote Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, 9.34. Or he will quote Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja, 18.66. To our great surprise, he said that the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, Ayu sattva bala arogya sukha priti vivardhana rasya snigdha sthira hridya ahara sattvika mukchate. That if you eat sattvic ahar, that leads to Ayu sattva bala arogya being increased in your life. And then he quoted yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. And we were like, oh no, he just missed the point. He came all the way so long, so precise. But right at the time when you asked him a critical question, he fumbled. He quoted something else as the conclusion and not what Krishna is talking as the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So this is an interesting category of people in India. And some of us also fall in this category, unfortunately. We are very good at using, Viko Vajradanti. We are exceptional in applying some herbal face packs. The formulas given in the Ayurveda. We are exceptional in taking to, organic cooking and spicing and pranayama, yoga, Ayurveda, Jyotish, so many of the Vedic sciences that work in real life, we are happy with them. We say, okay, no problem. But as soon as someone comes and tells us, can we go a little step ahead? Surrender to Krishna. We say, that's a little too much. Because we have got our agenda. That this is called half hen logic. Ardha kukkuta nyaya. The front portion of the hen that gives me golden, that I have to feed is not nice. And the back portion of the hen that gives me golden eggs is very nice. So what do? I cut the hen into half so that I don't have to feed the front portion. I can just enjoy the golden eggs. Similarly, people take the Vedas and use those things that are very suitably giving them sense gratification, but they reject that portion of the Vedas which demands a particular surrender to the Supreme Personality of God. So what will happen if you take Vedas like that? What does Arjuna say at the end? Sarvam etadultam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava. Oh Krishna, I accept everything that you said in toto. Sarvam etad rutam. Rutam means satya. Yanmam vadasi Keshava. Whatever you said, I accept it as true, without leaving anything, any portion of it. So this is also another definition of true faith. We have faith at one level, Trigunamayi Shraddha. We have to go to the next level, Transcendental Shraddha, spiritual faith. So we have faith in the three modes, but we need to have faith in transcendence. So this verse says, Ajnasya ashraddadhanasya samshayatma vinashyati. Thus such a person will have no standing in spiritual life in due course of time. Nayam loko asti na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha. One who is a doubting soul cannot have a happy life now and forget about his future life. That is even going to be more miserable. Now someone may say, okay, somebody doesn't believe in Krishna, why should he have a miserable life? Krishna ko itna kya hai problem hai? So this question arises in our mind because we fail to understand the true nature, constitutional nature of the soul. We have given this analogy several times. We are part and parcel of the whole, and the hand wants to enjoy rasgulla. It has to put it in the mouth, it has to go to the stomach, and then hand gets its nourishment. Now this is called constitutional position, that the part must serve the whole. Now we may not like this arrangement. We would rather be wanting to make ourselves into the whole who lives at the cost of others. But if you think very carefully, being a part and parcel is also a perfect condition of life. It is no less. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. And this also is a very perfect condition of life. To be a caretaker on behalf of God, to be a provider of enjoyment to God, is not a horrible position at all. And the proof of this is that one who is enjoying the rasa, pleasure of service, is more happier than the person who is object of service. In spiritual understanding. In material understanding, if I am servant, I am miserable. If I am master, I enjoy. But in spiritual understanding, servant enjoys rasa more than the master to whom the service is being offered. This is ulta mathematics. And that's why being a servant is a nice position. To give an example, Lord Krishna, he is wondering what happiness Srimati Radharani experiences when she serves me. I don't enjoy so much as much as she enjoys. So what is that experience that she has in service, I want to taste. And he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now imagine if the master gives up his position to try and taste the other side of the story, who is better situated? The other is better situated, isn't it? So that is how spiritual understanding is completely opposite of materialistic understanding. Now, when our His Holiness Radhanath Swami was preaching in America back in 1980s, he used to go city to city in colleges and conduct some cooking classes. And that cooking class was basically prasadam feeding, that you do for the students in the colleges. And many students want to eat healthy, and they want to eat something that is homemade, in the sense, in hostel life you know how food is. So they would come for the classes. If you go and tell in this college that I am going to teach Bhagavad Gita, you may not get permission. But if you tell them we are going to teach cooking classes, you immediately get permission. So he would go and conduct the cooking class, and sometimes you make that puri and put it into the oil, it puffs up. It was something like a magic show, for Americans. They used to, what happened? It puffed up, and then you poke it, steam comes out. It's like magic. So they would get very fascinated by these kind of things. Halwa, gajar halwa and puri. You can imagine. If you taste it, finished. No more discussion whether spiritual life is wonderful or not as an option from material life. So and then they would feed them nicely, and I have question answers, some yoga, purpose of human life. Envy. So unwillingness is one level, but this question is about why that unwillingness after getting so much? Causeless. Why causeless? And this explanation should actually shake you up. In our life, even now we have got all the needed knowledge, facility, association, engagement to perfect ourselves in Krishna consciousness. But still we are not doing it. We are holding back. God knows for whatever reasons, but we are not like, oh, I now understood, it's so crystal clear. We are not like that. Why? Causeless unwillingness. Because the free will is so free, it's free, Krishna doesn't control it at all. And that's why this whole phenomenon. But even we are, that's why I said, Samshayatma, we also fall in that category. Despite becoming devotees, we hold back. It is not that we have understood the conclusion even, I would say. We are another interesting category of Samshayatma. But we say, okay, इस lifetime में नहीं. Anyways, bahunam janmanam ante, Krishna has said, ज्ञानवान माम प्रपद्यते. कभी ना कभी तो lifetime में आके surrender करना ही है Krishna. इतना घाई के. Take it cool, boy. So, so we are in that kind of a boat. So, these are the items on Shraddha.
Are they destined to be Sanchayatma?
There is nothing like destined to. It's twofold. It is your free will that has given a certain type of destiny to you now, but within that destiny you still have the free will to change that destiny further. So we have to go on making right choices, and our destiny, which means our conditionings, will be removed. We'll become free to choose more in our life.
So for any wrongdoing, we just can't. Making a wrong choice, we just can't blame destiny.
No, we cannot. It is like, somebody can bring gulab jamun up to your tongue, but you still have the free will whether you want to eat it or not. So material nature brings the suffering and the enjoyments of our past karma right up to our immediate vicinity. What we do with it is up to us. How we respond. So it's in that sense. Text 41. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadhanti dhananjaya. Translation.
One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the actions of work or conqueror of riches.
So now comes conclusion of the whole chapter in these two verses, 41 and 42. So Jnana, Krishna said so many times, Jnana will do this to you, Jnana will do that to you. And Arjuna is wondering, but Krishna, Shushka Jnana will give me all these benefits? I thought you are talking about Bhakti Yukta Jnana. Now, Shushka Jnana means just speculative knowledge, you have so many things that you know. And Bhakti Yukta Jnana means you understand that after all this knowledge, Sambandha Jnana comes Avidheya, practice of Bhakti. So which one? Arjuna is confused. After hearing so much glorification of Jnana, which Jnana is being glorified here? So Krishna is clarifying that. It says Yoga Sanyasta Karmana. Yoga refers to Karma Yoga, technically, but action in Krishna consciousness. devotional service. So, yoga sannyasta karmanam, if you act with detachment in karma yoga, what will happen? Jnana sanchinna samshayam. That samshayatma item will be cut to pieces. All your doubts will be answered in due course of time. You have no confusion, no doubts about what you are following. Jnana, transcendental knowledge, sanchinna, cut to pieces. Samshayam, doubting. And then finally you become Atmavantam. Beautiful term. Atmavanta means one who has truly situated himself in the self, in the full glory of being an Atma. Atmavanta. Just like Bhagavantam, one who has all opulences, you become Atmavanta, self-situated and happy in life. Na karmani nibaddhanti. And after that, whatever actions you may perform, you will not be bound. And Krishna is calling Arjuna as Dhananjaya because you are the conqueror of material wealth. Now let me see how you become conqueror of this spiritual wealth of transcendental knowledge and these divine opulences that come along with it. Show me your valor there, O Dhananjaya. In that mood, Krishna says this. So become conqueror of riches in this direction now. So I am also saying the same thing to all of you. You have minted money so far so long, and you have done all the other things in material life very successfully, and you have situated yourself in a platform where you can peacefully execute spiritual culture. Now let me see your valor in how much you can conquer spiritual wealth by sincere practice of transcendental knowledge. So that is first conclusion. Now the second verse, second conclusion. Tasmadjnana sambhutam hrutstham jnanasinatmanah chitvainam samshayam yogam atishta uttishta bharata. Translation.
Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
Joy. You know, Krishna is such a teacher. He leaves no room for wondering what's the call for action here. Now, Arjuna must be thinking, oh, transcendental knowledge, Atmavantam, na karmani nibaddhanti. Maybe I did not fight. You know, because everyone decodes messages according to their requirements. Even if you give them perfect knowledge, they will decode it. You know, perceptionally, just take a portion of it that suits their requirement. Krishna is not living like that. He says, okay, tasmat ajnana sambhutam. Sambhuta means born out of ajnana. What? Samshayam. You had got doubts, right? In the beginning, Arjuna said, according to Dharma Shastra, it is like that, Artha Shastra says like this, Niti Shastra says that, common sense says this, and he got confused. Samshaya. So Krishna says, okay, this is what transcendental knowledge I just now spoke to you. After this, what is supposed to happen? Chitvainam samshayam yoga. You are supposed to destroy all this samshaya that has arisen in your heart. And how do you do that? Where is this ignorance? Hrutstham, in the heart. And how do you cut that ignorance to pieces? Jnana asina. Asina means talwar, sword of knowledge. So there is a nice book by Srila Prabhupada called The Sword of Knowledge. If you ever get time, it's a masterpiece of theological presentation. The language and the content of that book is really nice. It's additional service for you. If you like reading books, study this book. Sword of Knowledge. So Jnana Asina, with the sword of knowledge, destroy, slash the darkness of ignorance in your own heart. And in my childhood, I used to see that He-Man, he had a sword. He-Man, it's a cartoon. I used to go around, he would glow like that, and a tiger would come and sit on it and do all kinds of things after that. So, after hearing this chapter, you are supposed to feel like that. So, she woman, whatever, he man. You are supposed to become so empowered that at least on day-to-day basis, all these small time doubts, I hope you get what I'm talking. Krishna hai ki nahi, and who knows, ISKCON and Prabhupada. All this, at least this level of things should be over. Okay, now you have doubt about something serious. Will I ever make it to the spiritual world? No. That's fine, no problem. But don't say spiritual world. That's a little too much. So I hope you get it. So we are supposed to become Atishtha Uttishta Bharat. So what do you do after this? Stand up, Arjuna. Don't sit down in the chariot. Stand up. Krishna is telling, fight the war. So similarly, we have everything. We have nice homes, nice skills, talents, all facility all around. But we are also sitting in our chariot, having dropped the weapons, and we are thinking, let's figure out first all these doubts. If somebody answers them clearly, then maybe I will do something. Krishna says, no, you start the fight. In due course of doing this karma yoga, dhyana sanchinna samshaya. You execute devotional service along with your prescribed duty. All your doubts will be answered in due course of time. Don't delay dally. Just do it. That's our. And then he calls him Bharata. Why? Every time Krishna calls Arjuna something, you should know there is some. Why Bharata? He's reminding of his ancestors. You are coming from a very glorious family. Don't behave like this, foolish. So all of you are also Bharatavasis. You are also Bharata-born people. If a Westerner doubts, understandable, no issues. If he doesn't do anything about spiritual life, still okay. But you not doing it, that's not expected of you. Bharata bhumite hoila manusya janmajar, jivana sarthaka kari kara para upakar. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction for all Bharatavasis. If you are, how many of you are born in Bharatvarsha? Okay, Bharata bhumite hoila manusya janmajar. First criteria over. Now second criteria, jivana sarthaka kari. Make your own life perfect by practicing spirituality. Then kara para upakar. Bharatvasis are meant for going out and giving this message to the whole world. If they sit here in Bharatvarsha and keep scratching their head on whether this is true or not, finished. And situation is the most amazingly favorable now, at this moment. The way we can do it all together, and we should not waste our time. So in the purport, there is summary of the whole chapter. Prabhupada brings the Dravyamaya, Karmamaya, Jnanamaya types of sacrifices and gives the conclusion to them. That is first 15 lines. Then in the middle you will see in the beginning of this chapter, some 16th, 17th line in the purport. From there onwards, Prabhupada talks about don't be Agnya, don't be Ashraddha, don't be Samshaya. Which means first have the books in home, then study them daily, 10 minutes, just before sleeping 20 minutes. It's not a big deal. We keep reading so much, WhatsApp Samhita and some Facebook Upanishad. So we have lots of things that we keep reading anyways. Why not read the real stuff? So he says don't be Agnya, then don't be Ashraddha. Develop faith, ask questions. Do you see this is an interesting thing about ISKCON classes? Every now and then the teacher says any questions? I have never seen this in any other spiritual culture where in between the classes only the teacher will ask Pravachan ke any questions. They will just speak and go after getting on Tali and everything. Because they are afraid to answer questions. If somebody really asks, I have a question, they say, But that's not our culture. We don't want blind followers. So, and Samshayatma. Having come here all this way along, don't postpone your chanting. Don't postpone core spiritual items at least. Sankirtan, Prasadam. Just accept. Even if you cannot do other things in life, no problem. Take Prasadam, chant Hare Krishna. and keep kirtans in the background of many of the activities that you do in home culture. Bas, anybody can do that in their life. Okay, and then last 10 lines I am reading as it is in the purport. One is therefore advised to study Bhagavad Gita or any other scripture under a bona fide spiritual master with service and surrender. So Prabhupada is really giving the arc of the whole chapter. What are you supposed to do after hearing this chapter? A bona fide spiritual master in parampara and is one who comes in parampara from time eternal, and he does not deviate at all from the instructions of the Supreme Lord as they were imparted millions of years ago to the sun god Vivasvana. One should therefore follow the path of the Gita as expressed in the Gita itself and beware of self-interested people after personal aggrandizement who deviate others from the actual path of Gita. The Lord definitely is the Supreme Person and his activities are transcendental. One who understands this is a liberated person. Janma karma cha me divya evam yo vetti tattvataha. By study, if you know this thoroughly, you also become transcendental. One who understands this is a liberated person from the very beginning of the study of Bhagavad Gita. Very interesting. You are already a transcendental person. Right from the beginning. Just accept this one simple truth. Krishna is transcendental. His appearance and activities are transcendental. One who studies them deeply becomes liberated. If you accept this much, you are transcendental. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of transcendental knowledge. So we congratulate you for completing 4th chapter. There are 14 more to go. Stay tight and enjoy your journey. Any comments or questions?
This journey is the destination, Prabhuji.
This journey is?
Is the destination.
This journey is itself a destination. We have already attained perfection. Sitting here and talking about Krishna. Nice comment. Thank you. Any other?
Prabhuji, why did we even make our first ever desire? Because originally we were in Goloka. Why did we choose in the first place itself to come to this horrible material world to become independent of Krishna? Causeless unwillingness to serve Krishna. Here also, despite getting all facility, we still refrain ourselves from full-fledged engagement in Krishna's service. Similarly, it is also very much possible in a purely spiritual atmosphere also, the Jiva can have his own agenda of... Why did he do that? Wasn't it so blissful already?
It is blissful, it is all perfect, it is all wonderful, everything.
And then the soul is such a talent. Wasn't it perfect anyway? What was the first design?
Yeah, Prabhupada gives 3 explanations. First explanation he gives is, sometimes a living entity develops a desire to want to create something for Krishna in the spiritual world. Krishna, can I create something for you? Krishna says, what can you create? Everything is created by me. No, I want to create something for you as a service. Krishna says, fine, become Brahma in the material world, do something, create something. And in the process, facilitate other jivas to come back to me in the spiritual world. So we come here, and then with the touch with matter, we start thinking, it seems little optional situation that I can continue here longer, being an independent person. So that's one way we come here. Second way, Prabhupada gives an example. Somebody is eating too much sweet rice, and he suddenly feels that desire that I should eat bhadang. बोले ये क्या है भाई? तुमको कुरमुरा क्यों खाना है? अच्छा स्वीट राइस मिल रहा है, खाओ. थोड़ा टेस्ट चेंज करना चाहिए ना प्रभु. So like that, the jiva also is enjoying his spiritual life very nicely. Suddenly, some inexplicable thing. Third explanation Prabhupada gives is, if there is a person who has fallen into the ocean and is suffering, and some boat comes and throws a rope at him and tells him, come up. And he argues with them saying, पहले मेरे को बताओ मैं पानी में आया कैसे हुआ? Say, wait a minute, boy, you are drowning, you are suffering. Why don't you come out first on the boat? Then let's go and figure out later.
how did you exactly fall into this ocean? Said, nahi. Unless you first give me this answer, I will not come back. So, there are certain things that are so inconceivable about our existence in the material world that those questions will be answered only after we go back home, back to Godhead. In the spiritual realm, when we have attained our Satchit Ananda body, this answer will be precisely answered individually. तुमने exactly क्या गड़बड़ किया वो समझ में आएगा. But now sitting here to figure it out, what exactly did I do? One time somebody asked Prabhupada, really, yesterday, Prabhupada, tell me, how did I come here? Prabhupada said, you chant Hare Krishna, go back to Krishna Loka, ask this question to directly Krishna. He will tell you. Answer for this question, what did you exactly do to come into this situation? So these are some of the answers given. In spiritual life, there are three kinds of things we come to know. Things that we can hear, understand, and immediately apply to see results. Second, we hear, we don't understand, we continue the practice, we start understanding. And third, there are things we hear, we don't understand, and no matter how much we go on practicing spiritual life, we will never understand them. They are inconceivable. So 3 boxes of truth. Now you may say, third box is interesting. You will never understand. For example, when Krishna ate dirt, and Mother Yashoda asked him, "Khaya kya?" "Nahi." "Ole muh kholo." "Ole nahi, ole jhoot bol rahe hain." Balaram and they lost in game with us, and because they are not able to tolerate the loss, they are accusing me of eating dirt. So then open your mouth. What's the big deal? So Krishna opens his mouth, shows Virat Roop, the Vishwarup inside the mouth to Mother, and she is bewildered. She thinks he has got some terrible disease. ये क्या दिखा रहा पेट के अंदर? Now the question still remains. Acharya asked that question. So did Krishna eat dirt or not? Now if you say yes, he ate. Balaram is saying Balaram is absolute truth. Krishna ate dirt. Oh, obviously Krishna ate dirt. And if you say no, I am on the side of Krishna because Krishna is absolute truth. He can't lie. And he can't lie means whatever he speaks is truth. If he says I didn't eat dirt, he didn't eat dirt. As simple as that. Now who is true? So this you will never figure out. You get the answer? There are things like this in spiritual life. We will just never figure them out. Ki ho kya hai? Exactly. And we should be also happy about it. Because ultimately knowledge is not the point, love is. We want to love Krishna, not know. Nobody can know Krishna fully, despite all the endeavors that they may put. So we are here to love Krishna. Okay, so 5th chapter, I will quickly give only the outline. Can you help me rub this off? So you please write down the sections of this chapter 5. So I'll just give a quick overview of what has happened so far. In chapter 1, thank you. In chapter 1 was the setting the scene, the surrounding environment in which the Gita was spoken. So setting the scene also for our heart, which is also a battlefield of dharma and adharma. This is setting the scene here. There is one scene there going on, and there is an eternal scene going on here. The battle between dharma and adharma. And we also come out of our phalanxes once in a while to do this tattva charcha about ourselves. Where am I going? What am I doing? What's going on here in life? And that time Krishna comes out and he starts telling you transcendental knowledge. So that's the setting the scene. That's first chapter. Then second, third and fourth chapter is Nishkam Karma Yoga. That's the karma section of Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters. So Krishna is basically emphasizing dutiful, detached, devotional action. 3 things. Dutiful, as per the instruction in the Veda. Manual जैसे बोलता है वैसे, dutiful. Detached, not being attached to the fruits of your work. And devotional, lovingly thinking of Krishna while doing that activity. Trying to please Krishna through that activity. So this is Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama, detached, karma, duty, yoga, devotion. Connected with one. Okay? Second, third, fourth chapter. Now, fifth chapter is how this Nishkam Karma Yoga has got seeds of jnana inbuilt in it, and the behavior of a perfected Nishkam Karma Yogi. In chapter 3, Krishna talked about behavior of a practicing Nishkam Karma Yogi. In chapter 5, he will talk the symptoms of a perfected Nishkam Karma Yogi. वो apprentice student था वो, ये master है Nishkam Karma Yoga. So what are his symptoms? So that will come in chapter 5. And the sections are so we'll explain this in elaboration next time. You just note it down for now or click a photo and we will see what this fifth chapter is about. So just before we end, some important announcements. Next class will be on 5th January at Siddharth's home. Your deity welcoming anniversary celebration of Govinda. Second, in the meantime, when the cat is out, no rat should or play around, which means that I'm not there for 2-3 weeks. You are going to continue your daily chanting, nice study on day-to-day basis, and especially come on the 1st and the 31st night. There is going to be a special program in the temple for New Year Eve. See, on the New Year Eve, people are doing so many sinful activities, thoroughly breaking 4 regulative principles, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intolerance. सब उतना ही करते रहते हैं in the name of enjoyment. And the bad karma, cumulative bad karma of the planet goes at another level. So we as devotees have a duty to compensate for that by performing devotional activities. Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. So I request all of you to come to the temple on 31st night, participate in Kirtan and some of the best possible culturals that we are trying to arrange. Go home, sleep early, and again come for the morning Mangal Aarti. That's the way you begin your new year. So you get into the gear with a positive beginning of the year. And if you can't come for Mangal Aarti, at least come for Darshan at 7:30. But Mangal Aarti is best. Some people just don't sleep that night and they just continue Kirtan whole night and attend Mangal Aarti and go home. So that's also another option. If you like to do it, we are open for it. So that's about 31st. So note it down in your diary. Instead of spending time with these TV channels, who are trying to bring this actor and that fellow and somehow or other trying to entertain you, We are not bored of that. Every time that comes, every new year, we feel it's all the same. We are getting one more year ahead into the darkness of Kali Yuga. Don't forget. So it's nothing. So that is the New Year's. We have party and you are welcome. Either come here or in that, whichever. Then third is, I just need to have a quick hand raise because I'm going to decide based on this hand raise, how do I continue these classes? How frequently do I continue these classes? How many of you are chanting one round steadily? Okay, very nice. How many of you are not yet chanting Hare Krishna? Not very regular, regularly regular, something of that sort. Okay. How many of you are chanting more than 4 rounds? Okay. Anybody between 1 to 4? Okay. And how many are 16 rounds? Okay. Thank you. So, we have a plan that we are going to make a proposal here for the management to give us a space which is a little free from distraction, and I'm still searching for it. Once that is finalized, we will need your help to make that place functional for all of us to do the programs. That I'll tell you more in the future. And another thing, I may go again to US mid-Jan to mid-Feb. So that again there will be no classes at that time. So please don't miss whatever 1-2 classes that may happen now, next, and tell others also. And we'll directly meet. Maybe if I don't continue further to Mayapur and then to Wada, I'll directly come back on 18th March. So that's going to be long. Okay. From Jan mid to March end. Okay. But I have full faith that you are all very nice students of Bhagavad Gita. And no matter whether teacher is around or not, you intensely practice spiritual culture. So with that faith, I am peacefully going to America. And
where in America are you going?
where all? Los Angeles, San Jose, Atlanta, Boston, Washington DC. Yes. I have some of my pass out students, or I don't know, graduated students gone there. They are doing nice, wonderful preaching, so many activities. So once in a year they invite. And I especially want to thank Siddharth and Sriram for nicely hosting programs here, despite all the chaos that goes around. And for all of you who are cooperating with them in providing prasadam and whatever festivities that you arrange in between. And we hope that this continues for the pleasure of Radha Kunja Bihari in due course. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sarvaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Gopimande